200 HP Pokemon, Druddigon dealing 40 damage when attacked, supporters that allow you to choose an opponent's benched Pokemon, and attacks that change your opponent's energy zone type. All of this and so much more in today's Pokemon TCG Pocket video. So, tons of new cards from the new set Space Time Smackdown, due to release on the 29th of January, have been leaked, and plenty of them are arguably meta-changing. Here is a full list of all the cards that were revealed for the set so far. Pause if you wish to read them, but if reading is something you don't want to do right now, don't worry. We're going to jump right into the most impactful cards of the leak. First up is Infernape EX, which has the move Flare Blitz for 140 damage. Upon using the move, you discard all fire energy on the Pokemon, but what's interesting is this move costs only 2 fire energy, which is insane. Not to mention, this guy has a 0 retreat cost. I definitely expect to see this in some type of Blaine Aggro and Charizard EX decks. So this is wild. Porygon-Z has Buggy Beam for 80 damage, and it randomly changes the opponent's energy that will be generated on their next turn. Many Pokemon attacks do have colorless energy tied with their type energy for big attacks, but for the likes of Mewtwo, Blastoise, Gyarados and Charizard EX? Well, this could be a big stall for them. This feels like such a fun card to play with. Next is Weavile EX, which has Scratching Nails that deals 30 damage, or 70 damage if the defending Pokemon is not at full health for just 1 Dark Energy. This could be a very nasty setup with Koga Weezing decks. Poison Chip damage will sync very nicely with this. Giant Cape is a big one, as it gives the attached Pokemon an additional 20 HP, meaning the likes of Gyarados and Charizard EX will have an astounding 200 HP. This will surely weaken the power of Mewtwo EX decks, which rely on that 150 HP knockout. But it begs the question, does this item only increase the health pool, requiring you to use a potion, or does the tool also add that additional HP when attached? Gallade EX is an interesting one. Transforming from Psychic to Fighting, this guy deals 70 damage plus 20 more for each energy the defending Pokemon has. Great counter for Charizard EX decks, but I expect this card to pair very well with Lucario, an earlier revealed card that gives all fighting Pokemon 20 plus damage. Introducing one of the strongest non-EX Pokemon, Bidoof, which has the ability Super Fang, which halves your opponent's Pokemon remaining HP by half, rounded down. Expect huge 200 HP giants lose over 100 HP just by this little guy. It will be interesting to see what its evolution, Bibarel, will have in terms of moves. Togekiss comes in with Overdrive Smash, which deals 60 damage, but then deals 120 damage by the next turn. Match that with the earlier revealed Cynthia supporter, and this card could do up to 170 damage. Extremely dangerous, and I expect this to be its own deck when it's released. What some consider an upgraded Sabrina, Cyrus allows you to choose and switch out one of your opponent's benched Pokemon, providing that Pokemon has damage counters on it. This will make Zebstrika and Greninja decks very formidable in the near future. Will it replace Sabrina? I don't think so, but decks that can reliably dish out damage to the bench or chip damage in the early game will certainly use this instead. Garchomp arrives with a very interesting ability, Reckless Shearing, which allows you to draw an additional card per turn, providing you discard one from your hand. This move can be used once per turn and from the bench, effectively having you double the speed of drawing all the cards from your deck. It's certainly interesting, but I expect an EX variant to arrive that syncs a little better with Cynthia. And finally, there's Rocky Helmet, which, if attached to a Pokemon, deals 20 damage whenever that Pokemon gets dealt damage, effectively giving any Pokemon Druddigon's ability. Or you could put it on Druddigon instead and make it a 40 damage per attack. I expect this one to see plenty of usage at first and then eventually be weaned out of decks where it doesn't sync as much. In fact, just before we go, Misdreavus indirectly introduced Confusion, a move in the standard TCG in which when the opposing Pokemon attacks, they must flip a coin. If tails, the Pokemon does 20 damage to itself instead. It cannot be cured by a coin flip and can only be removed if said Pokemon is retreated to the bench. However, just by going to tips, battle rules, and then read the status effects rules, it appears the Pokemon does not inflict damage on itself if the flip is tails. The attack just doesn't happen at all. There are plenty more cards we haven't covered, but since they're about to be released on the 29th, we're going to wait and see what the first impressions are. But what are your opinions on the new cards? Let me know in the comments down below. Or for another Pokemon video, you can check out this one appearing on the end screen now.